G'day everybody, my name is Lowell and welcome to the channel. So we have a reaction video. This is going to be UK versus USA food fight. 5 dishes, same name, very different. So let's jump in. This is going to be featuring Mythical Kitchen and Tasting History with Max. So let's jump in and let's have a look at this one.
Today, we have Ben Ebbers-Ebrel representing the UK, going head-to-head with Mythical Kitchen's Josh in a UK versus USA food fight. And
I knew Biscuits would be there.
our incredible judge is Taste History host Max Miller. Let's get it on.
Right.
If you haven't seen Tasting History, definitely check it out. It is a great show.
I'm going to go first with
Biscuits.
the British biscuit. A sweet, crisp, delicious thing.
Those first bits, are they biscuits? They look more like crackers.
That we
On his
dip
plate.
into a cup of tea.
Custard?
I mean,
Okay,
the Brits
no,
eat
there are,
more
okay.
biscuits than any other nation. And what is not to love? Lots of
Custard
varieties.
creams,
but
good.
Always
Bourbon biscuits, good.
sweet, sometimes with a filling, and perfect to dunk.
That is not a biscuit whatsoever. I'm gonna show you a real biscuit. Now this is a proper American biscuit. You know why it's a biscuit? Because you can go down to Carl's Jr. You can get yourself 2 for $3. And also Biscuits, deep history of tradition in the South. This is like a relatively American invention. Would y'all call it like a plain scone?
No.
I feel like it's a...
Scone is completely different. I kind of thought it was until I made my own biscuits. But definitely different.
scone or a scone.
It's a quick
Never a
bread
scone.
that's made, it's leavened
Scone.
with sodium bicarbonate. It's got mechanical leavening from a ton of butter that is sitting in pockets there. It's flaky, it's buttery. At the same time,
But it's not a biscuit.
yeah, biscuit literally means
Twice cooked.
twice cooked, and this
We
is...
stole it from the Italians, biscotti.
Well, how many breakfast sandwiches can you get on there at Carl's Jr. in Britain?
That's a good point. I mean, we're just dunking. We're just happy to dunk.
I would call that a cookie. Do you use the term cookie for anything?
See, biscuit is like an umbrella term, and
The only way we would call it cookie would be if it's a choc chip. That's the only thing we call Australia cookies, would be choc chip cookie.
does like
Yeah.
cover cookies, sandwich biscuits.
Interesting.
See, it's good,
But
right?
that is still a biscuit. Yeah, this is lovely. I love little treats like these. I wish we had more of a little, I'm not gonna call it a biscuit, but I wish we had more of a little fun treat culture in America like that.
A cup of tea solves every problem in the UK, and if it's served without a biscuit on the side, you get frowned upon. Hospitality is not complete without a little plate of biscuits.
You know what, when I
Gotta have
microwave my tea next time, I'll dip one of these biscuits in it.
Don't microwave teas. Please do not do that.
The long and the short of it, the biscuit has a history long before Britain with biscotti. Literally, the Navy survived on these crisp biscuits. It was an essential part. Now we've sweetened them. They're absolutely delicious, and no cup of tea is complete without one.
I'm gonna give you 5 reasons why these are called biscuits. Carl's Jr., McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A. Taco Bell had a biscuit taco that came out in 2017. You think that they were served on these? No. Listen, America invented fast food and we vomited it all over the globe. This is not...
No. Rome had fast food well before America. Now, so a biscuit obviously goes from the ship's biscuits, transformed, into what Americans call biscuits as well, too. So
now called a biscuit. Sorry, history lost out to commerce again.
To be fair, all those brands are bigger than McVitie's.
You guys' arguments were persuasive, not so persuasive. I mean, I grew up in America, so this was a biscuit to me, but I'm sorry, this is a biscuit because
That's a
it does
biscuit.
come from twice baked, and so I can see the connection there. This is delicious, but that's a biscuit.
We make
Good on
soggy
you,
biscuits
Max.
with tea, you do it with gravy.
Do you know what a soggy biscuit in America is?
Yeah, I wouldn't
It's just a dippy thing, right?
Okay, good.
Should we move on to round 2?
Wait, what? What is a soggy biscuit in America? I don't know what that means. Okay, obviously I'm not supposed to know what that means, but anyway.
Now that is some good old-fashioned American
Here we go. The bloody jelly. Jesus Christ, just make up your mind. Jello, jelly, whatever. No, that's
Poured
jam.
grape jelly. We call this jelly because it needs to be differentiated from jam and preserve. So jelly is when you take the fruit juice and you strain it, thicken it with sugar, and then use either like a gelatin or most likely a pectin if it's a fruit jelly that you would put on a sandwich. We decided that in preserves or jam, we didn't like all the fiber and all the actual fruit parts of it, so we strained all that out, threw it in the trash, and we're left with pure American jelly. And that's why this is called jelly.
America's
That's
number
jam.
one. Whereas, for us, in Britain, that's a jelly.
Yep.
No way,
Yep.
get out of here.
Wibble wobble wibble.
Now you can understand why I get confused. People say, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It's like, how the hell does that work? No, that's a jelly. That's jelly.
Wibble wobble on the plate. That
Is
is
a jelly.
jelly. It comes from the French gelée, which literally means to set, to congeal. We stole the word, we took it into jelly. It's an art form, and in Victorian times, it was a way of showing class status.
What have I told you, friend? That was called Jell-O.
Jelly.
Literally, all of my arguments for the American versions of things are just going to be, we may not have invented capitalism, but we sure perfected it, and especially in the food space. Because literally, Jell-O is a name brand product started in 1897 in New York, and it was very much this like hopeful, we've used science to conquer God, we can now gel all our food and it can be in your own home. It is no longer a point of status to make jellies, which is why Jell-O shows up in all of these like 1950s space race era recipes, because we democratized these formerly elegant and erudite and aristocratic processes. So that is now called Jell-O. Jell-O brought this to the masses and they should earn it.
I mean, it's a fair point. I feel like, sweet or savory, jelly is always going to be this and not that.
That's,
What do you call this? Do you have a name for this where you strain
Jam.
out all of the fruit parts?
That's a jam.
yep.
That's a jam.
It doesn't matter. We don't have preserves. We don't call them preserves, whatever, jammed. It's just all jam. It's just jam.
Because you're jamming in as much fruit as you possibly can to preserve it. We don't have grape jelly. PB and
Yeah,
J
we don't have grape
confused
jelly.
us for so long because we couldn't understand why you were putting jelly into a peanut butter sandwich.
Well, no, what we do with jelly, as you call it here, is we cut it into cubes and we mix it with either some combination of Cool Whip and or mayonnaise and or something we call pudding, and then we call it a salad. I don't know if you're
Jelly salad.
Mayonnaise? Huh?
familiar with that. Uh-huh.
I'm not sure I need to be.
Oh, you got a lot to learn about America. Go to Minnesota, they'll educate you.
All right, these arguments were even more off the wall, but that's a jelly.
Yeah.
This is also
Come on,
jelly,
you
but
guys.
I
It
can
says
do
it on
this.
the pot.
I can
know.
do this.
It says so. It says it right there.
because your argument with Jell-O is that it's not necessarily Jell-O, and this has just been around for a longer time. And Jell-O is made for making shots. This is a jelly, gelatin. It's all related. Though you mentioned savory jellies, we need to stop that. That's
No,
not
that's
cool.
big
I
thing.
love
That's
it.
weird, right?
That's not cool. No, you don't.
Do you put it on top of a pate, that little layer of, you get that like cherry.
If I hadn't
In a pork
already
pie.
decided against your argument, I would change my mind. Shame on you, Josh.
Slurp it up. Give me the meat jelly.
If you're enjoying
Cool.
this, there are some small things you can do that make a big difference to us. Like the video. Subscribe if you aren't. Click the notification bell and select all. Thanks.
All right, let's do. What's the next one?
I'll kickstart it
America's got to pull it back. Come on, US. You got to pull it back a bit.
with
Chips.
chips. So whilst the reputation of like British food hasn't always been great, fish and chips is a status. Right? It's a status symbol, it's been there forever, and it is fried battered fish
Yeah.
and fried potatoes. The potatoes are chipped. The verb to chip, you create chips of potato and then fry them. So they should be a little bit soggy, they don't have to be super crispy. We're not talking French fries, we're talking chips.
Yeah.
But they're the best.
Bit of vinegar on that. Oh, good times. It's even more confusing if you're in Australia because we call everything chips. Crisps are chips. Potato chips, chips. Everything is chips.
Simple as that.
Do you believe that these are better than like a proper twice fried Belgian frites? Like you actually would stare me in the face and say that
Yep.
these English chips that you go,
Yep.
they're meant to be like this.
They're so. Oh, come on. Bit of sea salt on that. Bit of malt vinegar. Oh my God, so good.
You would actually say that these are better.
Yeah.
Like
All I can fall back on is if it's going to be a fried potato, it's the verb. It's the verb to chip. You chip a potato, so it has to be a chip.
Okay, I would
What has he
argue
got,
that
potato chips?
these are actually properly chipped more so than those, and this has a fascinating origin story.
sliced.
I believe that potato chips are a uniquely American product. They were invented by George Crumb in Saratoga Springs, New York. This has a fascinating myth behind it that probably didn't happen, but there was a customer that was him off, kept saying, slice the potatoes thinner and thinner, and so he chipped and chipped and chipped away until they were these thin chips, fried them, customer loved them, and so I think that this is a more properly chipped chip than, if you look at the origin of French fries, people will point out they're actually Belgian, but the term French does not mean the country. It refers to the knife cut because the French codified a ton of cooking. So it is actually a French cut potato, which is so much better than this, which is not even a chip. These are called potato wedges, and KFC got rid of them because
No,
nobody
they're
wanted
not
them.
wedges. That's not a wedge.
I'm close to agreeing if it wasn't the fact that nostalgia and growing up with these chips. The problem is these weren't chipped and chipped and chipped away. They were sliced.
Yes.
They're sliced.
No,
they're crisps.
yeah,
And then
what
they
do
were
you-
cooked, so these are crisps.
Are they
not
using
chips.
like a hammer and cudgel to chip the No, they're using a knife. These are sliced. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
potato chips, potato
What
crisps?
about like a
They're
paint chip?
crisp.
What is a paint chip to you? Like,
Paint
how the
chip?
paint is chipping off the walls. Which shape more accurately describes the paint chip?
I suppose it depends on how many
Oh,
layers of paint.
I got a centimeter thick wad of paint
What
falling
about
off.
wood chips?
All right, this is. I mean, come on. These are chipped. You chip with a chisel. These are sliced as well. How do you think these were made? Those are chips.
No.
Also, just onomatopoetically, chip. Those are a chip. They just. This is a crisp. They're not crisp at all. These are like.
These are called gloms.
I'm losing this
basically
based
like-
on onomatopoeia.
It's like mashed potato that has been forced into a mold. No, those. First of all, soggy potatoes in
I mean, they're not a good representation of chips anyway, but man,
general.
definitely. Fish and chips, beautiful.
wrapped in newspaper with fish.
You're not helping,
Under
man.
an arm. Fish and chips on a Friday. And you're right. A touch of the old days with our soggy chips. I'm sticking with them. I think you've taken the win.
All right, what's next?
Lead away.
Here we have the delicious
Muffins?
American invention of muffin.
We're gonna do English muffins. Okay.
I would like to stand on my soapbox here, and I would like to phone in this round and give the win to him because I have my own point to pitch. These should not be called muffins. These should be called cupcakes. This is simply a delightful cake that has been baked inside of a cup, and you can have frosted cupcakes and unfrosted cupcakes. Any unfrosted cupcake should be called a muffin. In fact, many of the best cupcakes are actually what we would call muffins. Muffins
Wait, is he fighting for the British side? What's going
to be
on?
denser and moister and filled with delightful flavors, where a lot of cupcakes are just made with mass-produced ingredients. So I am urging America, Britain, everyone rally around each other to finally unite to call this a cupcake. Thank you. I rest my
A
case.
big cupcake.
Also, we already have English muffins. It's our own thing.
And you know what? We weren't hard finding them. We found plenty of English muffins here in LA. My problem is, this is also a muffin. It has the
Wait.
muffin top where it bakes and falls over the
Yeah.
paper. We all have a good muffin top. It's great, right? That is the signal of a great cake. It's stuffed with blueberries, chocolate chips, whatever you want. It's a quick bread. That is a muffin. This is an English muffin, and it is a small, round, slightly leavened bread.
That's a
Yeah.
crumpet.
No, crumpets
No,
got
no,
whole...
no, 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 no. That is not a crumpet. Crumpet is something completely different.
in and is yeasted. The muffin,
Completely
you know the muffin
different.
man?
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. He lives on Drury Lane.
He absolutely does. And he goes around with a bell because these were so popular at one point. The muffin men used to ring bells to let you know that they were in town to sell you the muffins because no one had ovens in their homes, much like an ice cream van does today. And Parliament even tried to pass a bill to tell them to shut the bell up because it was for everyone. So muffins have been around in Britain and especially London for a long, long time on Drury Lane. That, however, is a sweet muffin, and I'm also here for it.
America invented
Divided.
the English muffin. Samuel Thomas in New York of Thomas English Muffins invented it and initially called it the toaster crumpet. As I say again, these are
No.
crumpets, despite them not
That's
looking
not
the same or
crumpet.
being cooked the same at all. That's what he tried to market them as. Every American said, "What the hell is a crumpet?" And he said, "You know what a muffin is?" And they said, "Like maybe." And he's like, "Ah, it's English muffin." And so that is how English muffins were invented in America.
I feel like we are divided on this. Which is the muffin?
We need mass.
Well, that's the muffin. I like your cupcake argument there.
Thank you.
Fun little fact. We went to school 1 mile down the road from Little Moffat's house.
Wait, she's a real person?
What?
She lived... Oh, what's the name of the road? Little Miss Moffat.
She sat on her. What?
She sat on a tuffet. Little Miss Moffat sat on a tuffet. Eno Curzon Way. What was the road?
What are you talking about?
We went to school together. You walked down the same
I
road.
think this was a dream, my friend.
I still
What
want
is he talking about?
the muffin round. Should we do down 5?
Where did you live in relation to Frodo?
Just left of the Shire. Hertfordshire.
What's the last round? I think it is.
Last one. Once and for all. Would you like to do the honours?
I would love to. What we have here, wiggly
What is
jiggly
that?
American pudding. Now, you
Pudding.
might say that is
I wonder if he's going to have black pudding. Because pudding is the French for sausage. I'm assuming that's what he's going to
a
do.
custard.
Okay.
No, custard comes from French and it is typically set with egg. American pudding is set with starch and occasionally gelatin, similar to an Italian panna cotta. I don't even know what's under.
I don't know if I've had American puddings. I think I've just had custards. Maybe. I don't
there
know.
because y'all got 90 different things that
Maybe.
you could have put under that they're closed. But for us, we have cups of pudding and they are delightful. You can put rice in it, you can put tapioca in it, but at the end of the day, it is dairy that is thickened with some form of starch.
Okay.
And therefore always sweet.
Yes, pudding, screw it. Pudding is always sweet.
Because it's the sweet savoury thing that confuses me. Because we do have many puddings, but I think this was the
Black
first.
pudding.
Black pudding.
Yeah.
So from the French boudin, literally like pudding. We had the Great Fire of London in 1666, and it happened on Pudding
1666.
Lane. And Pudding Lane was where there was a tranche of, or a road, a track down to the Thames, and all the butchers would throw their offal out, and it would make its way down to the Thames. It's all about offal, and this is blood pudding.
It's delicious. If you haven't had black pudding, oh my god, it is delicious.
Blood sausage, and that
Delicious.
is one of our many puddings.
What's like a delicious sweet treat you eat after a savory meal?
That can also be a pudding, perhaps steamed, but it is
But
sponge
pudding
based.
is no, but like pudding is an event, right? Like, oh, we'll take pudding. What are you having for pudding?
Pudding can also be an occasion, correct? Or it can be a souffled egg, flour, and milk mixture if you're from Yorkshire, or it could in fact just be the basin that you cook the pudding in. There's
Actually, I'm from Scotland, and we had Scottish parents, obviously. We always just say, what's for pudding? Pudding for us just meant what's for dessert. So I'm kind of leaning towards, but again, as I said, I'm from Scotland. Black pudding is delicious. But we always said, what's for pudding, as in what's dessert.
or you could make it from suet. We have suet pudding too.
That's kidney fat, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
But this is the one I'm putting forward. This is the original. This is black pudding.
Black pudding.
Offal based. The Romans were making this stuff. Like it's ancient old, and here we are still enjoying black
The
pudding.
Romans wasn't calling it pudding. You know, the Romans were calling it whatever they called it. Like, I understand the etymological
Something in
angle.
Latin, I imagine.
And so I respect it, but to me, the definition is way too wide-ranging for it to be meaningful outside of that specific in-group in the culture. This is pudding. Slangcha.
Okay, I have to stop this right here. I can't go on anymore. All right, before
This
I
is
make
gonna
my
be a struggle.
decision, I have some questions.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so a haggis is a pudding, but so is
Offal, steamed offal. So this is
but so is a steamed pudding that you'd have at school lunch.
Yep, with treacle.
Cluty pudding, which is obviously cluty dumpling, which is a pudding as well. Scottish, delicious.
on top.
There's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of wide range.
What
for
would you
sure.
call a sausage?
I mean, a sausage is a sausage, right?
But how is a sausage very different from a black pudding?
This has blood, which counts as offal, and therefore the butchers were getting rid of it down the track through Pudding Lane.
But some sausages have offal in them as well.
I go to a baseball game and I'm eating tubes of pudding inside my hot dog bun? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think because you got just too many uses for the word.
Yeah, we've confused ourselves.
We're gonna go with this is pudding. Though I do like that when English people say, I want some pud.
Pud.
I do enjoy that, regardless of what they actually mean.
If someone came up to
think
me and
it's
said,
true.
I want some pud, I would think they were asking for something real
It
different.
depends on where they come with the wing.
Pudding.
Excellent. Well, you're the official adjudicator because you know everything when it comes to food and history, which is why Max is awesome. We're going to do some other videos with Max on the channel as well. Keep your eyes out for that. But a massive thank you, Josh, for competing in British versus American food terms. Are we any the wiser? Comment down below.
Oh, that was very interesting. It's amazing. It's amazing how just a small sample there, 5 dishes, same wording, but completely different. Completely different. So, but that was very good. I enjoyed that. Max, as I said, check out his channel if you haven't, and obviously Mythical Kitchen if you haven't already as well too. So that's the first time I've ever watched sorted food on YouTube. That was quite interesting. I enjoyed that. So that was a good battle. The British came out on top on that, as we should. So that's just a little dig. As somebody who is British, it's always nice to have a win. But that was very good. That was very good. I enjoyed that immensely. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for joining us today. Make sure you stay safe, and I'll definitely see you in the next reaction video. Oh, you're still here? You want more content? Why don't you check out my Patreon down here? You'll get plenty more content and some exclusive videos over there too. If not, why not check out this one over here?